All right. I'm ready. I'm ready to be hit with the hard questions
Okay.
or whatever we are talking about today.
Hell yeah. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So this is Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm? The podcast, the hard-hitting podcast, the gotcha journalism podcast, featuring your host, me, Sienna Really. Sienna like the minivan, really like the question. Today I'm having a little bit of laryngitis, but we're powering through. And I'm joined by...
Bryce Biffle. Biffle as in best friend for life.
Whoa. Aw. I hope so.
They used to say, or still say, I don't know. So
I haven't asked.
I don't know. I don't talk to my students more than I have to. So
Word. Well, who are you, Bryce Biffle?
Well, I'm an enigma, truly.
And I've always said that. I'm always saying
that. Music educator by day, music director, artist by night. I guess that'd probably be the best descriptor of me at the moment.
Primarily, when you say music director, when you say artist,
yes,
we're talking musical theater. We're talking church. We're talking Oompa daddies. We're talking.
Yeah, I should just say musician. I guess
you could.
Yeah, it's just whatever. It's just I go where the wind blows. So
and or I love whatever. That for you.
I don't know. So I'm also very self-conscious about being recorded. I'm like,
I know, it's scary, right?
I don't. I'm like, this is going to be preserved for all time. Like,
well,
or maybe
for some time at least.
For some, you're right.
No, I get that. It's scary to me. I've done this. This is the third time. This is episode 3. This is the third time that I've recorded, and it freaks me out every time. Don't get me wrong. I love to hear the sound of my own voice.
That makes one of us.
But does anybody else? Remains to be seen. I don't know. People really liked the Gabby episode. People really liked the Devin episode. Yes. Do they like hearing from me? IDK. This is not I'm not fishing. I'm not asking. Nobody answer that question. Bryce, what is your... Well, actually, okay, before I ask you another question, I have a disclaimer for the listeners of the pod. We are eating some sour gummy worms. I have, again, not sponsored, Trolley sour bright crawlers and Trolley sour electric crawlers with 2 flavors zapped together. So if you hear crinkly bags, that's what's going on. And that's just going to be fine. Chewing and
salivating.
Yeah.
And it's...
Right. Yeah. Along with me losing my voice. It's just what's happening, and it's just going to be fine.
Yeah.
Bryce, what's your relationship status?
Oh my God.
You can share as little or as much as you'd like.
You know, I'm in this super weird phase where I'm more healthy in my 30s than I ever was in my 20s.
Sure.
So there's kind of come a new layer of attention that comes with that, I guess. So
cool. I remember you told me that forever ago. We were hanging out, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm hot now, so all these people are coming out of the woodworks."
It's true. It's my cross to bear.
I would like to say for the record that at the time I did say, "Well, I thought you were cute before." I maintain.
Thank you.
You've always been
Thank
a
you,
cutie.
friend. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just calls them as I sees them.
Hey, yo.
Are you familiar with the meme? First, wait, before I ask this question, have you listened to the podcast?
I've seen that.
And be honest.
I have not yet, just because I've been busy the past
Yeah.
weeks.
That's okay.
So, again, you asked me what's my label. I've been playing, I've been playing piano for band students for the past 2 weekends and playing a show. And I've...
Okay. So you're not super familiar with the podcast. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Are you familiar with the meme, though? Yes. Would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yes. I think I don't mean to be pretentious, but I think I knew it before you did.
I'm almost certain you did.
I've been deep into internet meme culture for years and years and years. There was a time... I don't know if I should admit saying this, but
we can cut it.
We can cut it. Definitely in high school, kind of before Reddit was a thing, I would get on 4chan, and I would see the most. It's probably the reason I am the way I am today. I would just see before we. It's kind of weird. It's before you were able to go all these messages, before Reddit and Facebook and Instagram, you had to go to like this depraved corner of the internet to get advice animals and all this stuff. And like I guess it was a couple years ago when like the worm stuff kind of started up. So I'm very familiar.
Gotcha.
And it's many iterations. I'm a fan.
You said advice animals, and it made me. I just remembered for the first time in a long time. Fail blog.
Oh my god! I haven't thought about that in years.
I've never been on 4chan, but I was on that a lot.
I think there's this chart. It's like it was kind of like what created all of those. Just about any kind of meme you can remember from the late 2000s, from the proliferation of the internet. It's like that's where they all started. Was on those image boards and
on 4chan.
Yeah, and they would like, and that's kind of then they would go to fail blog or whatever. Like I can has cheeseburger.
Yeah, of course.
Like they're like all those kind of more mainstream ones.
Sure.
Or I funny or I don't know.
I still see stuff like shared from ifunny.com, and I feel like that's where a lot of like the meme generator stuff lives is on iFunny.
So we've all become content creators. We all became content creators.
Whoa, so, yeah. You're so right. Yeah. Would you say that you identify as a meme lord?
I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't go that far.
How far would you go?
I've got a pretty deep meme stashed on my phone. Like you gotta again. You talk about dating. It's like that's a thing. You gotta have the meme stash. Like you gotta have your things that you know you show your humor, because like that's also a good litmus test. Because like if they don't laugh at it or don't find it funny, it's just kind of like, oh, next.
Gotcha.
Like, we can't.
If they don't find it funny, or if they don't pretend to find it funny,
yes, at least pretend to find it funny. Like,
yeah. If they don't humor it, they don't, you should listen to the Devin Berg episode, because we did talk about the value of a yes and in dating or courting. Mm-hmm. So I think you would appreciate that.
Yeah.
So speaking of being a content creator, that's kind of what I brought you here to talk about. Is not creating content, but consuming content, specifically worm-based or worm-centric content. Worm-adjacent content. Yeah. So I think I told Bryce, I texted you that we were going to be talking about worms in media, and I didn't get any more specific because you were like, I'll come in cold.
I'll come in cold because you say media. That's... Man.
Right. It's a wide berth.
That's a very, very wide berth.
So I'm talking movies. I'm talking TV. I'm talking music even. I'm curious if there's going to be anything in that category. But I've been collecting mentally like examples of like famous worms in media. Movies and TV are the easiest ones, I think. And I want to know if they've been at all affected by the Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm of it all? Or if the Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm has been affected by the OC.
Okay.
Yeah. So big obvious example, the Shai Hulud.
I was hoping you were going to talk about
Dune. A la Dune.
I'm actually rereading Dune right now.
Oh, we're reading it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, audiobook. Gotcha. Super ADHD. I can't read a page to save my life, but...
Yeah, I haven't read a book. Period.
The audio...
I've never read a book.
The audiobook of Dune is amazing. Yes, Shai Hulud, the giant Arakeen, sandworm from Frank Herbert's Dune universe.
Yeah. Right.
The first 4 books are basically Paul Atreides, like his lineage, basically. Kind of. So the 4th book, God Emperor of Dune, Leto, too, who's Paul's son, literally becomes a worm.
Shut up.
Yeah, in the 4th book, like, that's the thing. Anytime you hear him talking, you have to know that he is, in fact, basically taken on the physical form of a sandworm.
Whoa.
With human features. And because Frank Herbert was a dirty, horny old man, there's a bunch of, like, these scenes where he talks about, like, he's, like, talking to... one of his assistants. He's like, would you like again, it's been a while since I've read the 4th book, but like he basically says, would it appeal to you for me to like generate some genitalia for you or something?
I'm screaming.
Yeah. It's the Dune books are very they're very graphic with some of their physical sexual not even innuendos.
I would have never. I don't know absolutely anything about Dune.
Oh man, you should look up. Every listener out there should look up the term beef swelling.
And I will.
Okay.
And I will. Thank you for that.
So, but in the fourth book, he's literally a worm, and he's like simping for this princess. Yeah, it's so like he's literally a worm, and I
am agog, I am aghast.
Yeah.
So he's and he's really. When was this written, by the way? Approximately. Give me a decade.
God Emperor.
80s. 90s, 70s.
No, Frank Herbert died in the 80s. So he only wrote 6 of the books, and then his son. I haven't read any of his son's Dune books. I may never. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how starved for Dune content I get. But I think God Emperor of Dune I'm pretty sure it was the 70s.
Wow. Okay, so that for sure predates Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm, based on a tweet in 2019.
70s, yes.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, wow.
But the worm thing started in 2019, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a whole episode about the origin of and the spread.
Excellent.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if I can talk about that for 25 whole minutes, but we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe that'll be an episode later. Anyway. Okay, so the 70s, we've got a man asking a woman, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah.
Can you think of any worm content before that? Surely there's got to be something.
Worm content. I mean, before Dune, I think Dune was 65. The original Dune novel.
Because all of the other examples I have is like SpongeBob. There's 2 examples from SpongeBob.
There's the Alaskan bullworm.
The Alaskan bullworm.
And Squidward has a pet worm.
Does Squidward have a pet worm?
Someone had a pet worm.
Sandy Wormy famously turns into a butterfly.
I only remember the first 2 seasons. Anyways, so back to Dune and worms. So before 1965.
Sure.
Giant. Let's see.
It doesn't have to be a giant worm.
Just a general worm.
Just any worm.
I'm drawing a blank here.
Dune might be the oldest. I'll go on record.
There's don't claim.
Are there okay, you work in a church. Are there worms in the Bible?
I mean, I'm sure the soil of the Garden of Eden had to be tended by something.
Whoa.
Historically speaking, some people refer to. I mean, if you're getting into English literature and things,
why not?
I believe dragons were sometimes referred to as great.
Oh,
worms.
Sure.
Isn't
there also a creature called
a worm? It's like a
WYRN.
Yeah. That's
or something.
There's different kinds of dragons. There's a wave. Again, things I just know about in passing because I'm just look at that word I've never seen before. So
and neither of us did any real research or prepared for this.
I literally was I'm coming in cold. I was just hoping you'd ask about Dune because I'm on a big Dune kick.
That's all you want to talk about.
I don't want to.
We can keep talking about Dune.
No.
This can be the Dune episode.
No, there is the last.
My friend Jocelyn will be kind of mad if this is the Dune episode and not her episode. But
this can be the prelude. Everyone needs to watch the 2021 Dune movie. Honestly, I
twist my arm. I'll watch it.
I'm going to say this on the record. This generation's Lord of the Rings.
Shut up.
No, I will say that
And you don't think this generation's Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings?
No, that was the last generation.
Whoa, that's
the generation before that. They're Lord of the so
millennial Lord of the Rings.
Millennials for Lord. So no millennial
Lord of the Rings.
Millennial Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, you're right.
And Gen X Lord of the Rings is Star Wars. So this will be Gen Z.
Interesting.
Gen
Z's Lord of the Rings is Dune.
Yes, I'll go ahead and put that on the record. Yeah,
I'll quote you on that. Think.
As far as visual and just filmmaking stuff.
Sure. So,
but yeah, but we don't only have to talk about Dune because I was thinking about all the 1965 forward worms. That's what I was also.
Like what?
Oh man, one of my favorite movies when I was younger was Tremors.
I forgot about Tremors.
Kevin Bacon, Reba McEntire.
Yeah, famously. A single mom who works 2 jobs.
Yeah, she
loves her kids and never stops.
I never watched Reba. I just knew her from
just
knew her from the first. By the way, there's 8 or 9 Tremors movies now.
Yeah.
Only one was released in theaters. So
I've only seen the first 2.
It's the first Tremors like came to mind. The graboids under the ground.
That's what they're called?
Yeah, they're called graboids.
They're not called, sorry, the worms are not called tremors.
No.
They just create tremors, and that's what the movie's
tremors,
called. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the shark is technically not named Jaws.
Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. I knew that. What is the shark called? Is the shark called anything?
It's called in the book it's called the fish. The machine was called Bruce.
The machine?
Like in the movie it was named Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Like the behind the scenes. Yes, not in universe.
No, which is how the shark in Finding Nemo is named.
Right.
Anyways,
wow.
Welcome to the 20 degrees of separation. You're welcome. So, Tremors 1990 came to mind. In The Empire Strikes Back, there's the giant space worm that comes out of the asteroid when the Millennium Falcon is trying to escape the asteroid cave. It turns out to be a giant space worm, and they're like, oh, the cave's Leo's like, the cave's closing in. And they're like, it's no cave, and they fly out.
It's a mouth.
It's a giant mouth. Yeah.
Whoa, it's giving Alaskan bullworm kind of.
It did very much Alaskan bullworm vibes.
Whoa.
So let's see. So
what's the thing called? Is a Sarlacc?
Yeah, that's Return of the Jedi. Sarlacc.
And also the Mandalorian. Thank you very much.
Yes, and
Book of Boba Fett. I suppose.
Yes. So I there's the worms in Men in Black who like hang out in the coffee room.
Right. To me, they don't read worm, but that's just what they are. That's what they're called.
Yes. Oh, James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, of course, James and the Giant Peach. That worm. Yeah. There's a tweet kind of a famous tweet that I saw about him that was like, okay, but would you still love me if I was a worm that wears transition lens glasses?
And it's the worm. It's the worm from James and the Giant Peach.
So that's an example of a direct example of that famous worm making its way into a meme. I've seen ones with the Shai Hulud also.
Yes.
Have not seen worms from Men in Black or Sarlacc or
graboids.
Yeah. Okay, what else you got? We don't have to. Okay, so how about other things in popular culture, a la Trolley? Not sponsored, but I could be if they wanted to sponsor me. Sour gummy worms. I feel like I've seen a lot of content would you still love me if I was a worm? And Trolley is capitalizing on that.
Really? Not to rain on your possible Trolley sponsorship, but I've become an Albanese gummy man. Why would you?
No, I just didn't know what that meant at first. I was like, what do you mean you become an Albanese?
Oh, I'm a gummy connoisseur. Like,
You are a candy man.
I'm a candy man. Trolley's good for your Albanese gummy worms.
Top tier?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, sorry, Trolley. I mean, Albanese. Sponsor Sienna.
Anyone sponsor Sienna. Please. By all means. Then I can afford fancy recording equipment, and every episode will sound much better than this one.
Would you accept an endorsement from Walmart Great Value brand gummy worms?
I wouldn't say no.
Okay.
I do live in a capitalist hellhole, and I will lean into that.
I would also lean into that
for the sake of the pod.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if. I believe Trolley is trademarked the colors because they're all different colors.
The yellow and red, the blue and red, the green and orange.
Yes.
What's your favorite color combo?
Blue and pink.
Yeah, that's the elite.
Which is apparently strawberry and grape.
Say on the count of 3, say your least favorite color combo of sour worms. 1, 2, 3, orange and green. Yeah, obviously. Exactly. That's the worst one.
They are.
Sorry.
I mean, I like to get I'll eat them all together. I'll eat them, but what you got to do, you take them.
For the audio listeners, Bryce has gotten all 3 color combos of the Trolley Sour Bright Crawlers
and
gummy worms.
Twist them nice and tight, and
not nice and tight,
nice and taut.
Sure.
And you make it look like that, and you just eat them all at the same time.
So you've kind of made a caterpillar almost.
Yeah, a gummy Shai Hulud,
if you will.
Oh. Another. It's like chew this. I remember you asking.
This is going to be the worst episode I've had. No, just kidding. It'll be the best. It'll be the best one.
I remember you asking, are caterpillars worms?
I did ask this many moons ago off the air, and let's bring that convo on the air. Are caterpillars worms? Where do you stand on this, Bryce?
Colloquially, they're a worm.
Sure.
Like we call, you out your tomatoes, there's a bunch of those big caterpillars with the small stripes, and you're like, oh, look, I got hornworms.
Sure.
You don't say, oh, look, I have whatever species of moth caterpillar.
Right.
We call them worms.
Sure.
So colloquially, yes. Biologically, no.
No?
No.
They're different?
They are different.
How so?
Because they're the larval stage of an insect. Worms aren't insects.
Speak on that. Tell me more.
Oh, man. I forget the name, but like if you're talking about like an earthworm,
sure.
There's some different.
I'm always talking about earthworms.
Okay, so yeah, so that's what you do when you talk about a worm. Yeah, exactly. But like, their worms are not insects. They're am I allowed to look up information? Like,
yes. You're allowed to use your phone. You're allowed to phone a friend. You're allowed to use your resources. This is a loosey-goosey podcast. It's just you and me hanging out in my room.
Oh, they're annelids. That's what they're called.
Worms are annelids?
Yes. Almost said echinoderms. That's like starfish and other marine invertebrates, like sea cucumbers.
Oh,
sea urchins.
Right. And famously, I would say sea cucumbers, not worms. Not even close.
No one. I've never heard.
Not even close. No, I've heard people.
Really?
That any kind of creature that's like shaped like a tube, they'll call it a worm.
What a foolish thing to say.
Yeah.
I would never call a
sea cucumber not a worm.
Absolutely not. If someone said that to me,
not in my house.
I don't belittle people, but if someone said that to me, I might belittle them. I would make them feel bad.
I might bully them to their face.
Yeah, I'd be like, did you even pay attention in biology?
LOL. I would never bully anyone to their face, except for my friends' ex-boyfriends.
Okay. What about ex-girlfriends? Would you like to bully some of my exes?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I kind of want you to.
Oh, okay. Put me in a room with them. Put me in, coach.
Lauren, if you're listening to this, I hope you get bullied. I hope years down the road,
LOL.
when she's starved for worm content, she's like, what's this?
What's this? Bryce Biffle.
She wouldn't get past the...
Your name's going to be in the title.
Oh, it's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll know.
Maybe
she's going to listen for sure.
You might.
I do. You know what? You bring up a good point. I do hesitate to bully women because I feel like we've already been through so much.
Right.
But if she sucks, she sucks.
She didn't say very nice things.
And I hate that.
So she was not a worm.
Wow.
She was not a worm. She was also afraid of lizards and frogs. The little things we look past because we're like, oh.
Yeah, been there, brother.
Anyways, sea cucumbers are not worms.
No, absolutely not.
Sea cucumbers aren't worms.
Caterpillars.
Caterpillars, colloquially, yeah.
Sure.
Like an inchworm is technically not a worm. It's
No, I do see a lot of caterpillar imagery in "Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm" content. So I'll allow it.
I think they're more marketable. They're like fuzzy. They turn into butterflies.
Yeah. Or moths.
Or moths, which are also I feel like moths are like kind of become like the masculine. There was like a phase, like there was like moth memes going around.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have seen a moth meme.
Like lamp. Do you have a lamp to spare,
yeah,
brother?
Of course.
Like it was maybe. I think it was maybe like pre-COVID. That was a pre-COVID.
Yeah,
meme,
I'm really. It's on like the tip of my brain, but it's not really
like lamp. Like there's
right, just like lights in general.
Yeah, more of a. Oh, what's the term? Anyways,
we are losing steam.
We are. How much can we talk about worms?
we were low on steam when we started.
I was like, dude.
Well, okay, so yeah. Movie worms, I think we covered it. TV worms. We got SpongeBob, Star Trek. I don't know.
I'm behind.
Game of Thrones. Are there worms?
There's worms.
The Office. Are there worms?
I just remember this because I hate this movie. In the extended speaking of Lord of the Rings, we were talking about earlier. In the extended version of the third Hobbit movie, Battle of the Five Armies.
Sure.
There is a scene
I'm familiar
where there's some giant worms, very Dune-like.
Oh yeah,
worms that come out and basically dig the holes for the orcs. I don't know if they were originally in the book or not.
Is your light on?
It's red. No. This is a failure.
Okay.
Like we
last possible thing.
It's
music worms.
There's that one They Might Be Giant song.
Yes.
There's a song called Inchworm.
Oh.
It's an old song.
How does it go?
I don't know.
Oh. You also teach children. You know any?
I know a song about a snail.
How does that go?
It goes I'm gonna have to use my falsetto here in case any of the fellow Kodai or ORF educators are listening in.
And they are. They certainly are.
Snail goes around and round and round. And like you take them by the hand and you slowly circle up and you get tired. They're all like, ah. I'm like, ah.
I feel like I remember playing that game.
It was a good game to play before the COVID time.
Yeah, your mic is for sure not working.
Oh, fuck. It's a sign.
It's a sign. Yeah, I think we have to be done.
No.
I'll ask you one more question, Bryce.
Yes.
And I'm only.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
The question is, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Of course I would.
Hell yeah.
You'd be like worms are essential. They're essential to the most, like maintaining the soil, fish bait. If I was like running a bait store and I needed a worm and like I was like the best bait salesman ever, I'd be a master baiter.
And I think we're done here. Thanks for coming on, Bryce. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day.